Music history project's been going pretty good. Uh, for those who didn't know why I was heading out here for what project, I'm here to record Leslie Fish's unrecorded songs with her playing them and everything to save the melody. She has one thing in common with me is that she is very much into handling things orally, and I don't mean sexually, you perverts. Uh, and and songs get passed down, um, learning rote. So we've been up here. We've been making pretty good progress, and that's good. But even in Arizona, the land drama in Illinois has not ended. Uh, I don't know how much things have been straightened out since I had to go. Uh, the girl that helps take care of my property um, showed me pictures where the lady did have the fence moved kind of along the line. And then in that one video where we're talking to the surveyor, he says this part's the property. Her fence is just past that, which means that it's starting to go back on my property. And I don't know how much on my property her fence is, mind you. Um, but then she's putting flower pots in the grass on the part that I own. So I've been having the girl that helps take care of my house just kind of scooch the pots back over to her side because we're angry now where we've been patient for 15 long years, and we don't want to give her a single damn inch. We just don't. You know, it's the way it happens when you push somebody around too much. They hit a breaking point, and we hit that point. Uh, so about 4 or 5 days ago, because I had called a company, which are a cable company, internet company, trying to find whose wires were in the part of the portion of the yard I owned that were there without my permission because she had said she owned my property to get them to dig up my yard instead of hers, leaving me a mess. And could they please kindly remove their damn wires, right? But we both looked it up, and apparently they're telling me they put in the wires years and years ago. Then who dug up my land recently? I have to ask. Uh, And okay, fine. I said, okay, fine. Well, the survey's done. It's proven where my lot is and everything. And I'm just going to handle things in the legal way, my way. And if that means moving wires myself and I'm able to do it, I probably will if I can, you know. But I probably won't, to be honest, because it's there. The damage is done. It's years. As long as, we can get things straight. Uh, and that tech, because they had the head guy call me, actually had the nerve to tell me, well, I'm looking at a map now, and according to the map, she owns that property. Now, I'm no surveyor or anything. And it's like, you're thinking, yeah, right. You're not. You're not. Uh, so I said to him very politely, well, she paid for a survey a few days ago, and it proved that I'm correct. So about that. Yeah, even the utility companies jumping into the fray. Is that not insane? I think maybe the company might have been just a little worried that I was objecting to them digging up my yard without permission. They were worried about themselves. But still, who are you to go look at a map when that's not what you need to tell me where my property line is? Oh my gosh. Uh, but I am given to understand by pictures that she has moved the fence, and I won't know if it's been moved along the lines like it's supposed to be until I get back. I've got a few more days of the project still, handling that, and then it's the long drive back. Uh, so there is that. I'm hoping that she had the fence put down right. I'm really hoping because I don't I'm tired of the drama. I'm tired of the stress. It's just too much. It really is just too much. Uh, to answer one of the person's questions, first off, I have to thank everybody that stopped to look at this story and replied. I was putting this on YouTube to catalog what's going on in market. I wasn't really expecting any views or anyone to care. It was more for me and putting the evidence out there. So I have to thank all of you that made me feel like I was not alone and I was heard. I am greatly appreciative. I mean, it was like, wow, faith in the human race right there. To answer at least one of the questions, How long has this been going on, and how did it start? It started when we first moved in. At first, people were kind of friendly, and we had a little meet and greet, and then it kind of expanded. And at first, for the first few years, it just looked like the neighbors were just inconsiderate. Like they would have block parties, and it would just happen to block us off from being able to get in and out to our house. Um, Whenever the one neighbor was running for city council, she had a big party. I guess she won or something. And everybody that came to the party parked, and they even parked like across my driveway and blocked my mailbox. And we were waiting on my husband's PTS medicine to come in that day. Of course, I didn't know the mail wasn't running that day because I don't pay attention to the calendar, so I guess it's on me. But still, that's just a little rude to be parking in people's space like that without even asking. I mean, yay, airplane! Hooray, Phoenix! Big old silver Phoenix! Ah! I don't know if you guys can hear me. Okay, I think it's gone. And it just kind of got steadily worse. Now, the others of the Mikachuk clan pretty much seemed hands off. I mean, there was that Halloween party they invited us to, and with that one, there was a neighbor who had moved in from Atlanta across the way, and she had basically, it was just them picking on us. You know, my daughter was going around town telling everybody I was this big scary witch, and I guess it got back to them, and they thought they'd poke fun at it. And don't get me started on my daughter. um, and but the one neighbor next door, we went to Fort Polk. To back up real quick, when we were stationed, when husbands got stationed at Fort Polk. Well, back up even further. While my husband was in Afghanistan, his third tour, we weren't doing so well financially. We had started that house with one rate of pay, and we didn't know how bad. We knew it would be cut when he left the Hawaii barracks, but we didn't realize it would be cut to the extent that it was when he went to Fort Campbell. And so we weren't doing as hot as we were when we first moved into the house. And it was to the point that while he was in Afghanistan, the lawnmower had broke. Lawnmowers weren't being sold anymore because the season was over around that little podunk town. And I had tried to find someone to fix it, got ripped off. And so we had no lawnmower. And my grass is getting taller and taller. And I couldn't stand it. And I was really lucky not to get a citation by that point, but the neighbors were, you know, not as bad back then. And so I went out with a pair of scissors, and I cut my lawn with a pair of scissors. My neighbors, who had lawnmowers, sat on their porches and watched. Yeah. I had said something in church about that. Not naming names, but they knew. They knew. Because, you know, the guilty always know. And it just kind of goes downhill from there. And then people moved out and people moved in. And with each new change of face, things got a bit more caustic. And I can't really explain how downhill it just went. And, you know, the house is falling in decay. And we really did genuinely try to get refinancing to fix it up. But we were told by the surveyor, the one doing the inspection, that she suggested she not do the inspection because in order for us to get a loan to fix it up, the house had to be fixed up to meet the standards for the inspection to be able to refinance so that we could get the money to fix it up. That's exactly what she said. Now, the VA recently told me she lied. So we have been going in circles looking for someone to refinance, and we finally found someone to refinance last week, and guess what they told us? That our situation did not meet VA standards and we could not get a refinance to fix up the house. They told us to try again in 6 months. I really want that house fixed up, guys. You just don't know. And so then we got moved. He got stationed at Fort Campbell. I went with him. And while I was away, according to the neighbor that put a stop to it, who was a stockbroker, And I don't know what else he was, but when I told this to the code enforcement secretary, she went, because I said, and he put a stop to it, and she was, so I don't know who he was. You should know your neighbors better, but it's difficult when they don't talk to you, you understand. Uh, but he had come to me my first day back. I was just getting out of the car. I had just driven 2 days to get home. I stepped in the front yard. And he made it a point to rush over the 2 acres to get to me. And that's when he told me that while I was away, the neighbors in my particular part of the neighborhood had gathered together, and he had said that so and so was the lead of it, and they were going to try to do an action to have my house taken from me. I don't know what action that would have been. Condemnation, maybe. But he was livid. He was livid that they had tried to do this to a military family while the husband was serving and we were stationed far away, despite the fact that I had a friend staying at the house who was actually quite good at finding ways to take care of it. And she had always lived in an apartment, but she did her best to take care of that home, even though she cut down some of my trees without permission. Uh, he was livid. And that's when I realized my neighborhood was not, I mean, it was one thing for neighbors to just not hang out because you don't get along. So let's face it, I find them incredibly mundane. I just don't hold it against them, and they must find me incredibly stupid, judging by the way they talk to me. Okay. So that Christmas after that, I started, all right, well, I'll kill them with kindness. And I got back and we're talking, these people had stopped putting out decorations, had stopped celebrating holidays. They had just become a very dark, quiet, sad neighborhood while I was away. So I started putting up decorations. And then every Christmas Eve, I would go around leaving presents on their front doors, secretly, Secret Santa thing. And I did that for a few years. And a couple of people noticed. But then one year, husband had lost his job and we were destitute, and so I didn't do it. And I don't know, the crazy neighbor next door, the first year I had brought bottles of mead, but she wasn't home that week, and I was not allowed to leave a bottle of mead wild on her porch. So she didn't get a bottle of mead. It wasn't snubbing her, it was the fact that she wasn't home, and I wasn't about to leave alcohol lying around for someone to grab. And I could tell when that came up a few months later, she was holding a grudge about that. Yeah. So I would like go through extra steps to get her presents later. And yeah, and she was the real push. It started to be, she knew where the lines was we did our survey to get the fence put in. But over time, she started to quote unquote forget and reclaim my land again and plant things in my land again and talk about how it was her push or whatever. And she just kind of hill, which is why me and husband say that she acts like she's off her rocker. She acts like somebody who doesn't have it all together. Personally, I think she just had a long end game because she'd learned that if you do things a certain way in Illinois, you can steal property. And you have apparently, according to husband, who was going to law school, so knows a couple of things. He was in pre-law. He looked it up and said that it takes 20 years to do what she had planned, and she broke and got anxious at 15 because of my ugly, ugly, ugly yard. That was ugly because of her dogs and having people dig in it and mowing over my plants, killing things, and yeah. Yeah. My yard isn't pretty. When I was a kid, I used to always want those pretty shaped hedges that you get with the Brady Bunch, and I can't shape them. One's too big; you literally can't reach across it. But we can't afford to have it removed, so I looked it up, and there are people who let those bushes go wild, and they turn out quite pretty. So I've made a conscious decision to let these bushes go wild, and I don't think the people are happy about it. What I want to do is replace them with a flowering bush that you don't trim, and it would look much prettier, I think. But that's beside the point. So yeah, it started when we moved in. It's just at first it was passive aggressive. You don't fit in, so we're just gonna smear ourselves all over your front lawn. And then it was people getting rude. And when I was sick, I had went to the Atlanta neighbor one time when I was sick. I had an abscess, and it's a little known fact, but an abscess tooth can kill you. It's a terrible way to die. And I was sick, and I couldn't get the tooth pulled, and I forget, and the water in my, because of the pipes in that house are horrible. That house should not have passed inspection to be sold, which, take that as you will. And so I went over to the only person home to borrow some WD-40 to get the dial to turn so I could get the water literally spraying all over my house. And it came out to me later that she was making fun of me for that, for going to her house, sick as a dog, to borrow WD-40. She made fun of me for that. I feel like I have moved into the Stepford Wives of High School Mean Girls in that neighborhood. That woman moved away, but it doesn't matter because the attitude with the ones that were her best friends remain. So it's just something that steadily has grown and has been passive aggressively laying still. And the crazy neighbor, that Saturday she cussed me out, was the day that her back broke and she couldn't hold it in and pretend to be nice anymore. Almost as if something nudged her to speak the truth. And before, early. um, and she burst. And the best laid plans, how do they put, loose mouths sink ships? So now we're hyper aware of our problem. But as far as I know, the fence is following the line. Is it over the line? If it is over the line, I will be taking it down. Although my husband says what we can do, since it's over the line and that would make it ours, is we can take the fence siding, take it off, and turn it around to face her. Because it's our fence and we want we're not going to want that ugly side on the other side. And plus it makes it obvious who owns the fence. I would need help for that. I would need people willing to do that. I would need to have to run another survey myself to do that. If I had the money, I most certainly would do that because I'm angry. It's not a matter of spite at this point. It's a matter of not 1 inch, because you give these people an inch, they take a mile. So not 1 inch, if we can help it. Not one. My ugly, ugly yard, which is the backyard that apparently my friend had been neglecting, even though she was supposed to be mowing it. I had even set up a little schedule so it was like 15 minutes a week for her. She's been kicking butt on it. So I'm hoping I come back to things straight. And that's about the only update I'm going to give you. But even far away, I've got utility companies, the internet, calling me to tell me that she's right after the survey's run and it turns out she's wrong. I can't imagine this town. I would not recommend anybody move to this town. I'll be honest, I can't wait to sell and get out. I love that house. Surely there's another house out there I can get that's comparable, preferably with land and no neighbors nearby. I've had it with neighbors.